You told me to buy this mountain bike product.
Did I? Did I?
I got so many comments on my recent full face helmet YouTube video about this product that I thought, you know what? That amount of people telling me that I need to try it means I probably should try it. And you might have guessed it, but it's another helmet. And it is in fact the Lee Designs Stage helmet. Here are all the comments you left. So basically, where am I going to put this? I'm not sure. Maybe I'll just hold it for a bit. Mountain biker. Two mountain bikers. If you didn't watch that video, it was about me having an epiphany about going from a half lid to a full face helmet. I've been wearing my Lee D4. By the way, this is not an advert for Lee. I have no affiliation with Lee Designs. And
oh my God, what is that?
Embarrassing.
That was a bit awkward. I'll never get over that. People were walking past when you're trying to film, and he was definitely judging me, but what can you do? So, as I was saying, this video has absolutely zero affiliation with Lee Designs. They didn't pay me to make this video, but this was actually gifted to me, but not in the way that you might think. Not by Lee Designs themselves, but by my good friend, Mr. Ollie Wilkins. And this is actually one of his spare helmets. He saw that I was wanting to try one, and he said, listen, I've got this one hanging around, so you're welcome to it, basically. So shout out Ollie Wilkins, shout out ODub, go check him out on Insta and YouTube. Basically, I was looking for a helmet in between my Lee D4 Carbon full-on downhill full face and a half lid. I don't really want to wear a half lid anymore. I want to keep my teeth, as I was saying in my previous video. So yeah, I wanted something lightweight and something in between for maybe the hotter days, hotter summer days. And one of the main reasons that I want to start wearing a full face now is from Sam's recent crash. I don't know if you saw it in, I think it was my last video, but I'll insert the clip now. And yeah, that crash was hectic. Oh! So I've used this helmet on a couple of rides, and it has a lot of pros, but it also has some cons. So maybe you're in the market for a new lightweight full face, and this is one that you're interested in. So I thought I'd make a video, and I'll let you know my thoughts on this helmet, what I like, what I don't like. Oh, and I'm also going to chuck some riding clips in, hopefully, so you can see what the helmet looks like in action. So let's start with the pros, and we'll get into the cons later. First pro is the weight of this helmet. This helmet is 690 grams in this medium/large sizing, and compared to my Lee D4, which is carbon as well, that's 1,070 grams. So it's quite a substantial weight saving, and you definitely notice it when it's on your head. I'm one of those people with a not very strong neck, so my head is always getting thrown around if I'm in a rocky, rough section and I've got a big full face on. So having this lightweight helmet definitely makes a difference. The next pro is it's very breathable. It has 11 vents, and actually I took a look on the Lee website, and they use some interesting wording. They say it's got is that a tick? Wow, there's a tick on my phone right now. That's not a great sign. Oh fuck, bro. You know what that means? There's probably ticks all over me right now. But the things you do for content. On the Lee website, they actually say 11 high flow air intakes and 14 exhaust ports. Obviously they're a brand with a lot of moto background, so it makes sense that they use this terminology, but it just made me laugh. Now all I'm thinking about is that there's ticks around here, and I'm probably gonna have to extract a load of ticks from my body later, but anyway. So it's very breathable. The next pro, it's comfortable. Someone messaged me on Insta and they said, oh, this is a great helmet if you have a Lee Designs shaped head. I have no idea what that means, but I think I must have a Lee designed shaped head, because this feels really nice. When I first put it on, I felt a couple of pressure points. But the great thing about this helmet is it comes with adjustable pads, like quite a lot of these lightweight full faces do. So you can take out these interior pads and swap them for a smaller or larger one. And those come with the helmet, which is nice. I might find this helmet comfortable, but you might not. So it's always best to maybe go into your local bike shop and try it out and see for yourself. So don't take my word for it, is basically what I'm saying. The next pro for me is the appearance of this helmet, the looks. I think Troy Lee Designs, sometimes they're a bit wacky, they're a bit crazy with their paint jobs, but this one I really like. I'm a fan of the splash of color these days, and I think this helmet pops. I think it looks really good. Some of the colors are a bit questionable, but this one, you can always go with the plain black one as well, which looks good, looks stealthy. So there's something about it which is just quite angular. It's quite similar. I think it took quite a bit of inspiration from the D4 and the Moto helmets. So I will happily ride this in a fashion contest, you know, and even though I'm trying not to be too worried about how I look these days and how people perceive me, it always makes you feel better when you're wearing gear that you genuinely like the look of. So I do like this, especially with these nice white Smith goggles. I think that combo works really well, but maybe you don't, and you can let me know in the comments what you think of how this looks. So that was the looks, the steez. The next thing is the protection. Obviously this helmet has way more protection than a half lid, but less than a full-on downhill helmet. And the protection is really the main reason that you buy this helmet. I know I spoke about the appearance, the looks, the breathability, but I think the protection is the main thing, isn't it? Having this chin bar on here, chin piece, whatever you call it, I find it also makes me ride faster having this on here. It instills me, instills, is that the word? I don't know. It instills me with confidence, or it fills me with confidence. And I find myself actually going faster and harder, no diddy, with this helmet on compared to in a half lid. So yeah, the protection also is good peace of mind. And I think having this lightweight helmet instead of the D4, or as well as the D4, will actually make me way more likely to grab this over a half lid on a summer day. I'm waiting till it's like August and we're getting close to 30 degrees Celsius and you're sweating going out in the middle of the day. I'm way more likely to grab this than I am to grab my D4. So that's a positive, definitely. Protection, but in a lighter, more breathable shell, I guess. The next pro, I've spoken about this in the last video, but is the ability to run your action camera on your chin bar piece. Now this is obviously not specific to this Troy Lee Designs Stage, because all of the full faces you can run a chin mount, but the DJI like chin clip that I have, I'll put in a clip of that here, it fits really nicely on this helmet. So that is a positive. I see a lot of people do the ones where they like 3M tape a little mount up here, but I like the idea of having this clip because it means I can take it off and it still looks like a normal helmet afterwards, not a helmet with a bit of plastic dangling off it. So yeah, another pro for me and for everyone, I guess, is this Fidlock magnetic, I think it's Fidlock, magnetic buckle on the bottom. Try and get a sound, ASMR. Ooh. Yeah, there you go. It's really convenient. On the D4 and a lot of full faces, you have like the D buckle strap, which is a bit fiddly, especially if you're like in a rush to drop into a track. You don't want to be fiddling around with that. Obviously, I think it is safer, but this helmet feels really sturdy, like really on my head. Like I don't think it's coming off. So I like the ease of use of this magnetic buckle. And I wish more helmets had it. I don't know if it's like a patented thing with Fidlock, but yeah, that buckle is nice. It's a nice touch. And the final and one of my favorite pros is these vents right here. Now, on my D4, I don't think I have a vent here, or it's definitely not this big. It's not quite like in this area, but that's actually the area where my ear sits. And in my D4, I cannot hear anything. Like people will be talking to you on a trail ride, I'll just be completely oblivious. So to have a vent right where your ear is so convenient, and I'm so happy with that. The fact I can actually, if someone talks to me out on the trail now, I can actually hear them. And you know, that can also be useful in different situations. Like if you're racing enduro, for example, and they're blowing whistles, or someone's telling you there's been a crash ahead and you need to slow down. If you can't hear that, I mean, it's going to be a bad time. So it's important that you can hear when you're in your full face. And yeah, I like the vent here. It's a nice touch. So now that we've spoken about all of my favorite pros about this helmet, let's talk about the cons. The first con for me is the quality control of this helmet. And it sort of goes hand in hand with my next con, which is the price, but we'll get onto that after. But I think when you're paying this much for a helmet, you kind of want it to turn up and it to look absolutely perfect. Or I do, at least. I think I got a little bit of OCD like that. If I'm buying something, like I want it to turn up pristine. And there's just a few bits on this helmet which aren't quite perfect to my eyes. I'll try and get some shots, some close-ups of them, but there's stuff like the paint is bubbling, there's some like glue stains, there's a few inconsistencies in the foam, like I think it's supposed to be symmetrical in some of these areas, and it really isn't. On these seams where the helmet, where the chin bar like connects to the main shell, I guess, the paint is like overlapping, but only in certain areas. I don't know. I understand they're mass producing these and you can't get every helmet perfect before you send it out. But I think if you're spending this much on a helmet, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. You can let me know what you think, but yeah. Shout out Troy Lee though. I think especially because it's Troy Lee, that's the thing for me, is like their whole thing is like the painting. And then when it turns up with a few paint imperfections, I'm just a bit like, not disappointed, but you know. So yeah, the price was the next one. This helmet, I looked on the Troy Lee website right now, RRP is £299. So £300 for this helmet. If you want to pay that, you pay it. You can get them in the sale for just under 200, I think. But the fact that their RRP is 300 is quite insane to me. Like this, there's no carbon on this. I understand like there's a lot of development that goes into these products, but at the same time, it's foam, it's plastic, it's a MIPS liner inside. Why am I paying £300? The paint job is nice, has imperfections. Why am I paying £300? £200, I think is a nice price for this. Just release it at £200, bro. And I think a lot of people will be more likely to buy them. And the buy-in for this sport is already so expensive that I think this is a great helmet and we want it to be accessible to as many people as possible. So if you're selling them in the sale for 200, you must still be making money. So please put the price down of these sick products because we want everyone to be able to wear them. One of the other cons, I've seen some photos online. It's like those forum posts, you know, where people have had like insane crashes in Wales or whatever, where the chin bar has been snapping off. And I'm sure these are like anomaly situations where that's not something that usually happens. But I do think, obviously this chin bar is not as reinforced and it's not going to be as strong as a full-on certified downhill helmet, like a D4 for example, or a Fox Rampage. Still, I'm hoping that when I do faceplant in this, the chin bar does not snap off, and I'm sure it won't, but it's definitely, since I've seen those photos, it's definitely in the back of my mind. But like I said earlier, it's still going to be way more protection than wearing a half lid. So really, you're still in a much better place than if you face planted in a half lid. Another con, I mentioned this with the price, but no carbon. I had the Specialized Gambit before, and that is actually carbon. I mean, it's still a lot of foam, but at least they have included carbon. And it just made me think, like, if I'm paying that premium price and I'm getting carbon, it makes me feel a bit happier for paying that price. And maybe it's something they will do on this next iteration of the stage, which would be pretty sick. But yeah, carbon. And I guess it would make it lighter as well if it was carbon. I don't know that for sure because it's already pretty light, but it would be cool to see. But you know, if they made it carbon, it would probably go up in price even more, so maybe it's not a great idea. One of my main gripes with these types of helmets is when they don't come with any mesh, like in these vents here. I think it doesn't look that great, and I really wish they put mesh in these vents, because I just think that I'm going to be riding down some rocky thing and there's going to be a pebble that will go straight through there and it would chip my tooth or something. I know it's great for like eating bananas or drinking water maybe. I don't know if you can get a bottle through there, but yeah, just at least offer us the option of like having a mesh insert that you can like place there, because I think not only will it be slightly more protective, but I think it also look better. It'll look a bit more hardcore, you know, which not that we care all about looks here, but it would be cool. And the last con for me is that there is no adjustable knob, like, you know, some of the full faces, I think the Fox Pro Frame RS and the Specialized Gambit have it. It's got like a BOA adjustment knob, and I think that would be a really nice touch on this helmet. I think this was one of the first lightweight helmets, or one of the earlier ones that came out, so I understand that they haven't updated it in a while, like maybe they will at some point, but I think that would be a nice touch to have on the second iteration of this helmet, would be a BOA, like, I don't know if it's retention or like adjustability knob. You know what I mean, you've seen it on different helmets, so yeah, that would be cool. So there is my 2 cents about the Lee Designs Stage helmet. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to leave a like, a comment and subscribe. And let me know if there's any other products that you want me to review. I mean, this wasn't really a review, it's like a short-term first look review type thing. But if you like this sort of thing, let me know in the comments. And if you have any other products you want me to check out, I'll be happy to do it. I'm gonna go and get some laps in. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you. Bro, if there's ticks on my body right now, I'm gonna crash out.